Tamara's hands shook as she stood in the giant glass office on the 50th floor. Her old sneakers squeaked on the shiny marble floor. Across from her sat Mr. Park Jin-woo, the most feared CEO in all of Seoul. His cold, dark eyes stared at her like a lion looking at a mouse. "You want to work for me?" His voice was quiet but scary, like thunder far away. "Then prove you're not a waste of my time." He pushed a thick stack of papers across his massive desk. Tamara's heart dropped when she read the first page. Her breath caught in her throat. Her eyes went wide with shock. "Sign this contract," Mr. Park said, leaning back in his expensive leather chair. "Or get out of my building and never come back." Tamara looked at the paper again. Her whole body started to shake. What he was asking was impossible, crazy, dangerous. But she had no choice. Her little sister was sick. Her mom was working 3 jobs. They were about to lose their tiny apartment. She needed this job more than she needed air to breathe. I don't understand," Tamara whispered, her voice breaking. "This says I have to." "I don't repeat myself," Mr. Park cut her off. His face showed no feelings at all. "You have 10 seconds to decide. Sign it or leave." 10, 9, 8. But wait. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know in the comments. Where are you watching this from? Drop your country or city below. Subscribe, like and share this video. And if you want to know how Tamara's story ends, you better stick around because what happens next will shock you. Let me take you back to where this whole crazy story started. Just 3 weeks before Tamara stood in that scary office. Tamara Washington was a 22-year-old Black American college student studying business at Seoul National University. Well, she was supposed to be studying. But studying is hard when you're working 4 part-time jobs and only sleeping 3 hours a night. Every morning, Tamara woke up at 4:30 a.m. in the tiny room she shared with her little sister, Destiny. Their room was so small that their 2 beds almost touched. The paint on the walls was peeling off like old skin. When it rained, water dripped from the ceiling into buckets they kept in the corners. Tamara would quietly get dressed in the dark, trying not to wake up 8-year-old Destiny. Her sister always looked so peaceful when she slept. So innocent. So sick. Destiny had a disease called leukemia. It's a very bad sickness that makes your blood cells not work right. The medicine Destiny needed cost more money than Tamara's mom made in 6 months. After getting dressed, Tamara would kiss Destiny's forehead and whisper, "I love you, little sis." Then she'd tiptoe out to start her first job of the day, delivering newspapers on her old, broken bicycle. The bike made terrible squeaking sounds as Tamara rode through the dark, cold streets of Seoul. Her breath came out in white clouds in the freezing morning air. Her fingers were so cold they hurt, even through her thin gloves. But Tamara didn't complain. She never complained. From 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., she delivered newspapers. Then she rushed home, changed clothes, and ran to her 7:30 a.m. class. She was always late. Her professor, Mr. Kim, would give her dirty looks, but Tamara just smiled and said sorry quietly. During lunch, instead of eating with other students, Tamara worked at the university cafeteria. She washed dishes with red, raw hands while other students laughed and joked at their tables. Sometimes they would look at her and whisper. Tamara could hear them. "That's the black girl on scholarship," one rich student said loudly. "I heard her family is super poor. Why is she even in Korea?" Another one laughed. "She should just go back to America and work at McDonald's or something." Tamara's face would get hot with shame, but she kept washing dishes. Her mom always told her, "Baby, let them talk. Words can't feed our family. Only hard work can. You show them what a Washington woman can do." After classes ended at 4 p.m., Tamara ran to her third job, working at a convenience store until midnight. 8 hours of standing, scanning items, smiling at rude customers who yelled at her for things that weren't her fault. Some customers were extra mean to her because she was black. They would stare at her like she was an alien, touch her hair without asking, make rude comments. "Why is this milk so expensive?" An angry man once shouted in her face. Spit flew from his mouth. "I'm sorry, sir," Tamara said quietly, her head down. "I don't make the prices. You foreigners are all useless," he yelled and knocked over a display of chips. Tamara had to clean it up after he left, tears rolling down her dark brown cheeks. At midnight, when most people were sleeping in warm beds, Tamara would walk home through dangerous streets. She was always scared someone might hurt her, but taking the bus cost money she didn't have. Every dollar had to go to Destiny's medicine or their rent. Then at home, she would study until 3 a.m. Her eyes burned. Her head hurt, Her whole body ached like she was 100 years old instead of 22. But she had to study. She had to get good grades. It was the only way to get a good job and save destiny. This was Tamara's life. Every day. Every week. Every month. For 2 whole years. But 3 weeks ago, everything got worse. It was a Tuesday morning. Tamara was delivering newspapers like always when her phone rang. She almost didn't answer because she was running late, but the number was from the hospital. Her heart started beating fast. "Hello," she answered, her voice shaking. "Is this Tamara Washington?" A woman's voice asked in broken English. "Yes, this is Tamara. This is Seoul General Hospital. Your sister Destiny collapsed this morning. Your mother brought her in. You need to come immediately." The phone almost slipped from Tamara's hands. The world started spinning. She dropped her newspapers on the ground and ran. She ran so fast her lungs burned. She ran like death itself was chasing her. When she got to the hospital, she found her mom crying in the hallway. Her mom's eyes were red and swollen. Her hands were shaking. Her beautiful dark skin looked gray from stress and fear. "What happened?" Tamara grabbed her mom's shoulders. "Is Destiny okay?" "She needs a new treatment," her mom sobbed. "A special medicine from America. But it costs. She couldn't even say the number. A doctor came out. His face was serious. "Your sister is stable now, but we need to start this new treatment within 2 weeks, or—" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. "How much?" Tamara asked, her voice barely a whisper. 50 million won, the doctor said. "That's about $40,000 US dollars. Tamara felt like someone had punched her in the stomach. 50 million won. Her family didn't have 50,000 won. They barely had 5,000 won saved up. "Isn't there insurance? Government help? Anything?" Tamara begged. The doctor shook his head sadly. "This treatment is experimental. Insurance doesn't cover it." "I'm sorry." That night, Tamara didn't sleep at all. She sat in the hospital room watching Destiny sleep. Her little sister looked so tiny in that big hospital bed. So fragile. Like a small bird with a broken wing. Her beautiful brown skin looked almost gray. Her curly hair, usually so full and bouncy, lay flat against the pillow. "I won't let you die," Tamara whispered, holding Destiny's small hand. "I promise. I'll find a way. I'll do anything." But what could she do? She was just a poor black college student in a foreign country. She had no money, no connections, no power. She was nobody. For the next week, Tamara tried everything. She went to every bank in Seoul, begging for a loan. They all said no. A young foreign student with no assets? Too risky. Some banks wouldn't even talk to her because she wasn't Korean. She tried to get more jobs, but there were no more hours in the day. She was already working 20 hours every day. She even thought about bad things, illegal things. One of her classmates told her about rich men who would pay young girls for company, especially foreign girls, especially black girls. They had fantasies. Tamara cried all night thinking about it. Could she do that for Destiny? Could she sell herself? But she was too scared, too ashamed. Her mom would die of a broken heart if she found out. Her grandmother back in Atlanta would roll over in her grave. Then, one day, Tamara was serving coffee at the university cafeteria when she overheard 2 business professors talking. "Did you hear? Park Jin-woo's company is looking for new employees," one said. "Really? Park Corporation? That ruthless CEO who fires people for breathing wrong?" The other professor laughed. "The same. But I heard the starting salary is 100 million won a year. Can you imagine?" Tamara's hands started shaking so badly, she almost dropped the coffee pot. 100 million won a year? That was enough to save Destiny and have money left over. She rushed to the bathroom and searched for Park Corporation on her phone. Her heart sank. Park Corporation was one of the biggest, most powerful companies in all of Korea. They made everything: phones, cars, computers, buildings. Mr. Park Jin-woo was famous for being the youngest CEO in Korean history. He took over the company when he was only 25 after his father died. But he was also famous for being cold, mean, and impossible to work for. People said he fired employees for being 1 minute late. He once made a whole department work for 72 hours straight with no sleep. He sued a man for $1 million just because the man said something bad about Park Corporation on social media. Tamara read news articles about him. In every photo, his face was like stone. No smile. No warmth. Just cold, dark eyes that looked like they could see into your soul and judge it. He was handsome, incredibly handsome, with sharp features and perfectly styled black hair. But his beauty was cold, like a beautiful statue made of ice. "He's terrifying," Tamara whispered to herself. But Destiny was dying. What choice did she have? The next day, Tamara put on her only good outfit, a white shirt and black skirt she wore to job interviews. They were old and a little too small now, but she tried her best to look professional. She straightened her natural hair and pulled it back into a neat bun, even though she knew some Koreans found black hair strange or unprofessional. She took the subway to Gangnam, the richest part of Seoul. The Park Corporation building was impossible to miss. It was a giant tower of glass and steel that reached into the sky like a mountain. Tamara had seen it before from far away, but standing in front of it made her feel like an ant looking at a giant. Rich people in expensive suits walked in and out. Their shoes probably cost more than Tamara's entire wardrobe. She felt so out of place, so small, so different. She was the only black person she could see for blocks. People stared at her as they walked by. "You can do this," she told herself in English. "For Destiny. You can do anything for Destiny." She walked up to the front doors. A security guard immediately stepped in front of her. "Can I help you?" he asked in Korean, looking at her suspiciously. I want to apply for a job," Tamara said in her best Korean, trying to sound confident. Her accent was still thick after 2 years in Korea. The guard looked her up and down and actually laughed. "You need to apply online. We don't do walk-ins. Especially for foreigners. Please, I just need 5 minutes to." "No. Leave. Now." The guard's hand moved to his belt where his radio was. Tamara felt tears starting to form in her eyes, but she blinked them back. She couldn't give up. Not now. For the next 3 days, Tamara came back. Every single day. She tried different entrances. Different times. Different guards. They all said no. Some were nicer than others, but they all turned her away. One guard even said, "We don't hire people like you here." She knew what he meant. On the 4th day, she was sitting on the curb across the street from the building, crying into her hands, when a black Mercedes pulled up to the front entrance. Everyone started moving. Guards stood straighter. People bowed. Tamara looked up and saw him. Mr. Park Jin-woo. He stepped out of the car in a perfect black suit that probably cost more than a car. He was tall, much taller than Tamara expected. His face was exactly like in the photos, handsome but cold. Like a statue of a Greek god that had never learned how to smile. His skin was pale and perfect. His black hair was styled perfectly. He moved like a king. Tamara didn't think. She just acted. She jumped up and ran across the street. Cars honked at her. Someone yelled. But she didn't stop. She pushed past 2 security guards and threw herself on the ground right in front of Mr. Park. "Please," she screamed in Korean. "Please, Mr. Park. I need a job. I'll do anything. Please." Everyone froze. You could hear a pin drop. Mr. Park looked down at her like she was a bug on his shoe. His eyes were even colder in person. They were like ice. Like a winter storm. And they were looking at her, a black woman on the ground in front of him, with absolutely no emotion at all. "Security," he said quietly in Korean. "Remove this person." 2 big guards grabbed Tamara's arms. They started dragging her away. She kicked and screamed. "My sister is dying." Tamara sobbed in English, forgetting to speak Korean. "She needs medicine. I'm begging you. I'm a good worker. I'll work harder than anyone. I'll do anything." Mr. Park had started walking into the building. But at those last 2 words, anything, he stopped. He turned around slowly. His eyes met Tamara's. For a long moment, he just stared at her. His face showed nothing. No pity. No anger. Nothing. But there was something in his eyes when he looked at her. Something Tamara couldn't understand. Then he said 2 words in perfect English that changed everything. "Let her in." Tamara couldn't believe it. The guards let go of her arms. Everyone was staring, whispering. A crazy black girl had just thrown herself at the CEO and he actually let her in? "Follow me," Mr. Park said in Korean. He didn't look at her. He just started walking. Tamara scrambled to her feet and followed him, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might break her ribs. They got into a private elevator. Just the 2 of them. The doors closed. The silence was terrifying. Tamara could smell his expensive cologne. She could hear him breathing. She kept her eyes on the floor, too scared to look at him. She was very aware that she was alone in an elevator with a powerful Korean man. She was very aware that she was black, foreign, and had just made a scene. She was very aware that nobody knew where she was. "What's your name?" he asked suddenly in English. His English was perfect, with barely any accent. "Tamara Washington, sir," she stammered. "Age?" 22, sir. "Education?" "Seoul National University, sir." "Business major." "Third year." "GPA?" Tamara's face got hot. Her GPA was terrible because she was always working, always tired. 2.1, sir. She heard him make a small sound. Was it disgusting? Amusement? She couldn't tell. "Why are you in Korea, Tamara Washington?" he asked. Tamara looked up at him for the first time. He was staring straight ahead at the elevator doors, not at her. His profile was sharp and perfect. "My mom came here for work 6 years ago, sir. She's a nurse. She thought we'd have better opportunities here than in Atlanta." "And do you?" He still didn't look at her. "No, sir," Tamara said honestly. For the first time, the corner of his mouth moved. Was that almost a smile? "Do you know what Park Corporation does, Tamara Washington?" he asked. "Yes, sir. You make phones, computers, cars, and—" "Wrong," he cut her off. His voice was sharp like a knife. "We don't make things. We make money. We destroy competitors. We dominate markets. We show no mercy to weakness. Do you understand?" "Why, yes, sir." "No, you don't." The elevator dinged. 50th floor. The doors opened. "But you will." They walked into his office, and Tamara forgot how to breathe. It was enormous. The entire wall was made of glass, showing all of Seoul spread out below like a toy city. The furniture looked like it belonged in a palace. Everything was black, white, and gray. Cold colors. Rich colors. Mr. Park sat behind his desk and gestured to a chair. Tamara sat down, her legs shaking so badly the chair creaked. "You said you'll do anything," Mr. Park said, his fingers forming a triangle under his chin. He was looking at her now. Really looking at her. His dark eyes moved over her face, her hair, her dark skin. There was something in his gaze that Tamara couldn't read. "People say that all the time. They never mean it." "I mean it," Tamara said, and she was surprised by how strong her voice sounded. "Why?" "My 8-year-old sister Destiny has leukemia. She needs medicine that costs 50 million won. We don't have it. She'll die in 2 weeks without it." For the first time, something flickered in Mr. Park's eyes. Was it a pity? No. It was gone too fast to tell. "And you think working here will save her?" he asked. "I know it will. Please, sir. I'm not asking for charity. I'll work. I'll work harder than anyone you've ever hired. I'll do whatever you need. Enough," he said, holding up one hand. "I don't hire people because I feel sorry for them." Tamara's heart sank. "But," he continued, and her heart jumped back up, "I do hire people who are desperate. Desperate people work the hardest. They don't quit. They don't complain. They do anything." He pulled out a thick stack of papers from his drawer and slid them across the desk. "This is a contract," he said. "Read it. All of it. Then decide." Tamara picked up the papers with shaking hands. She started reading. The first page was normal. Job title: Personal Assistant to the CEO. Salary: 100 million won per year. Her hands shook harder. That was enough. That would save Destiny and have money left over. But then she turned to page 2. Her eyes went wide. Working hours: 6 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. That was 18 hours a day? Every day? No days off. Page 3 made her stomach hurt. The employee agrees to live in company housing. No visitors allowed. No personal phone calls during working hours. All social media accounts must be deleted. Page 4 made her feel sick. The employee agrees to attend all company events, dinners, and trips as required. Employee appearance must meet company standards at all times. Employees must maintain weight between 50 to 55 kilograms and dress according to the company dress code. They wanted to control how much she weighed. What did she wear? Page 5 made her hands start shaking so badly, she almost dropped the papers. Employees must be available for any task the CEO requires. This includes but is not limited to travel, entertainment of clients, personal errands, and any other duties as assigned. Employees cannot refuse any direct order from the CEO without breach of contract. Tamara's mind raced. Entertainment of clients? Any task. With a man she didn't know? A powerful man? And she was a young black woman in a foreign country with no one to protect her? Page 6 made her heart stop. Contract duration: 5 years. If an employee breaks a contract or is fired for cause, The employee must pay a penalty of 500 million won to the company. 500 million won. That was $500,000. If she quit or messed up, she wouldn't just lose the job. She'd owe them money she could never pay. They could sue her. Take everything. Her family would be ruined. They might even deport her and her family back to America. This wasn't a job contract. This was slavery. Legal slavery. Tamara looked up at Mr. Park. He was watching her with those cold, dead eyes. This is, she started to say. Illegal, he finished for her. No, it's all legal. I have the best lawyers in Korea. They made sure of that. But this is, you're basically buying me, Tamara whispered. Yes, he said simply. No shame. No guilt. Just the cold truth. 4 or 5 years, you'll belong to Park Corporation. To me. You'll do what I say when I say it, how I say it. You'll have no life outside these walls. No friends. No freedom. No choice. He leaned forward. But in return, I'll pay you enough to save your sister. And if you survive all 5 years without breaking the contract, you'll leave with enough money to set your family up for life. Your sister will get the best medical care money can buy. Your mother will never have to work 3 jobs again. You'll have everything you ever wanted. And if I don't survive? Tamara asked quietly. Mr. Park's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Then you'll owe me 500 million won, and your sister will die anyway. Tamara stared at the contract. Her vision was getting blurry from tears, but she refused to let them fall. Not in front of him. Why? She asked. Why would you do this to someone? Because I can, Mr. Park said. And because I need someone who can't say no. Someone who has too much to lose. You're perfect. I'm a person, Tamara said, her voice cracking. Not a slave. You're whatever I pay you to be. He looked at his watch. You have 1 minute to decide. Sign or leave. Tamara looked at the papers again. 5 years of her life. Gone. Sold. She'd be 27 years old when she got out. If she got out. But Destiny would be alive. 13 years old. Healthy. Alive. 30 seconds, Mr. Park said. Tamara thought about her little sister. The way she laughed when they played together. The way she drew pictures of their family, always with everyone smiling. The way she said, I love you, Tammy, every night before bed. The way she used to beg Tamara to teach her how to do cornrows in her hair. 20 seconds. Could she do this? Could she give up everything? Her friends, what few she had. Her freedom. Her life. For 5 years. To this cold, scary man who looked at her like she was a thing, not a person. 10 seconds. Yes. She could. For Destiny, she could do anything. 987. Tamara picked up the pen. 654. Her hand moved to the signature line. 32. She pressed the pen to the paper. But just as she was about to sign, the office door suddenly burst open. A beautiful Korean woman in a designer dress stormed in. She was probably 30 years old, with perfect makeup and jewelry that sparkled like stars. Her skin was pale like porcelain, her hair perfectly styled. Jin-woo, she shouted in Korean. We need to talk about. She stopped when she saw Tamara. Her eyes narrowed with disgust. Who is this? She demanded, looking at Tamara like she was dirt on her shoe. Mr. Park's face didn't change at all. A new employee. Employee? The woman laughed, but it wasn't a nice laugh. It was mean. Sharp. A black girl? An employee? What could she possibly do for Park Corporation? Clean toilets. Tamara felt her face burn with shame and anger. That's none of your concern, Soo-min, Mr. Park said coldly. I'm your fiancé. Soo-min screamed. Everything you do is my concern. The room went completely silent. Tamara's pen froze on the paper. Mr. Park had a fiancé? Soo-min walked over to Tamara and looked her up and down like she was examining a bug. Let me guess. You're desperate for money. You're willing to do anything. And my fiancé is taking advantage of that. She wrinkled her nose. Do you even speak Korean properly? Can you even read that contract? She leaned down close to Tamara's ear and whispered in English, her accent thick. Sign that contract, and I will make your life a living hell. I will make you wish you were never born. I will destroy you and everyone you love. Go back to where you came from, black girl. Tamara's hand shook. The pen fell from her fingers and clattered on the desk. Soo-min smiled cruelly and stood back up. Smart girl, she said in Korean. But then Tamara thought about Destiny. Destiny in that hospital bed. Destiny dying. Destiny who never hurt anyone. Destiny who was only 8 years old. Tamara picked up the pen again. No, Sumin said, her voice dangerous. Don't you dare. Tamara signed her name in big, bold letters. The room exploded. Sumin screamed and lunged at Tamara, her perfectly manicured nails aimed at Tamara's face like claws. Mr. Park stood up so fast his chair flew backward. Security guards rushed in. Papers went flying. Someone knocked over a vase that shattered on the floor. Sumin grabbed a handful of Tamara's hair and pulled hard. You disgusting. Enough! Mr. Park's voice cut through the chaos like a knife. Everything stopped. Sumin let go of Tamara's hair and stepped back, breathing hard. Mr. Park looked at Tamara. Then at Sumin. Then at the signed contract on his desk. His face showed nothing. But his eyes had something dark and dangerous in them. Congratulations, Ms. Washington, he said quietly in English. You start tomorrow. 6 a.m. Don't be late. And in all the chaos, Tamara looked down at the contract with her signature on it and realized. She had just made a deal with the devil. And she had no idea what she'd just gotten herself into. Tamara's alarm went off at 5 a.m. She had barely slept. All night, she kept thinking about what she'd done. What she'd signed. What she'd sold. Her soul. That's what it felt like. She got out of bed quietly. Her mom and Destiny were still sleeping. Tamara looked at Destiny's small face on the pillow. Her baby sister looked peaceful. Innocent. This is for you, Tamara whispered. All for you. She had told her mom last night that she got a job. A really good job. Her mom cried happy tears and hugged her so tight. But Tamara didn't tell her everything. She couldn't. Her mom would never let her sign that contract if she knew the truth. Tamara put on the clothes that had been delivered to her apartment last night. At 11 p.m., a driver knocked on her door with 3 boxes. Inside were expensive business clothes. Black suits. White shirts. Black shoes. Everything in her exact size. How did Mr. Park know her size? The clothes fit perfectly. Too perfect. Tamara looked at herself in the mirror. She looked professional. Adults. Rich. But she didn't feel like herself. She felt like a doll being dressed up for someone else's pleasure. At 5:30 a.m., the same black car from last night was waiting outside her building. The driver didn't smile or talk. He just opened the door. Tamara got in. The drive to Park Corporation was silent. Tamara watched Seoul wake up through the window. Normal people going to normal jobs. Free people. She wasn't free anymore. The car pulled up to Park Corporation at exactly 5:55 a.m. The driver opened Tamara's door. Mr. Park is waiting for you on the 50th floor, he said in Korean. Don't be late. Tamara practically ran into the building. The security guards from yesterday stared at her, but didn't stop her. She got into the elevator and pressed 50. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was pounding. What would her first day be like? What would Mr. Park make her do? The elevator doors opened at exactly 6 a.m. Mr. Park was standing right there, waiting. He looked at his watch. On time, he said in English. Good. I hate people who are late. He was wearing another perfect black suit. His hair was styled perfectly. He looked like he'd been awake for hours. Maybe he never slept. Maybe rich people didn't need sleep. Follow me, he said. Tamara followed him into his office. But this time, he didn't sit at his desk. He walked to a small door on the side that Tamara hadn't noticed yesterday. This is your office, he said, opening the door. Tamara's office was tiny. Just a desk, a chair, a computer, and a small cabinet. No windows. The walls were white and cold. It looked like a prison cell. You'll work here when I don't need you, Mr. Park said. Which won't be often. Your job is to do whatever I say whenever I say it. Do you understand? Yes, sir, Tamara said quietly. I can't hear you. Yes, sir, Tamara said louder. Better. Mr. Park handed her a phone. This is your work phone. It's the only phone you're allowed to have. Your personal phone must be turned off and locked in that cabinet. You'll get it back when you go home each night. Tamara's stomach dropped. But what if my mom needs me? What if something happens to Destiny? The hospital has this number. Your mother has this number. If there's an emergency, they'll call. Otherwise, no personal calls. His voice was ice cold. Those are the rules. You signed the contract. Tamara wanted to cry, but she bit her lip hard. She would not cry in front of him. She would not. She took out her personal phone and locked it in the cabinet. It felt like cutting off her own arm. Good, Mr. Park said. Now let's begin. For the next 3 hours, Mr. Park gave Tamara task after task after task. Make copies of these documents. 500 copies. Stapled. Organized by date. Call these 20 people and schedule meetings. All for this week. None can overlap. Go to the coffee shop across the street. Get me an Americano. Extra hot. Extra shot. No sugar. If it's not perfect, get another one. Organize these files alphabetically. Then by date. Then by importance. Tamara ran around like crazy. Her feet hurt in the new shoes. Her back hurt from bending over the copy machine. Her head hurt from trying to remember everything. At 9 a.m., Mr. Park's secretary came in. Her name was Mrs. Kim. She was an older Korean woman with gray hair and a stern face. "So you're the new girl," Mrs. Kim said in Korean, looking Tamara up and down. "The black American." "Yes, ma'am," Tamara said, bowing respectfully. Mrs. Kim didn't smile. "I've worked for Mr. Park for 15 years. I've seen many assistants come and go. Most don't last a week. You know why?" "No, ma'am. Because Mr. Park doesn't want assistants. He wants slaves." Mrs. Kim leaned closer. "That contract you signed? I've seen it before. 3 other girls signed it. All Korean girls. All desperate like you. You want to know what happened to them?" Tamara's mouth went dry. "What happened?" "One girl quit after 2 days. She couldn't handle it. Now she owes the company 500 million won. Her family lost everything trying to pay it. She works 3 jobs and will be in debt for the rest of her life." Tamara felt sick. "The second girl lasted 3 months," Mrs. Kim continued. "Then she had a mental breakdown. She's in a psychiatric hospital now. Still owes the money." "And the third girl?" Tamara whispered. Mrs. Kim's face went dark. "She tried to kill herself. Jumped off the Han River Bridge. They saved her, but barely. She's alive, but broken. Still owes the money." Tamara couldn't breathe. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you seem like a nice girl. And I don't want to see another broken girl." Mrs. Kim touched Tamara's shoulder. "Get out while you can. Break the contract. Find another way to help your sister." "I can't," Tamara said, tears filling her eyes. "There is no other way. My sister will die." Mrs. Kim sighed sadly. "Then may God help you, child. Because no one else can." At noon, Tamara was filing documents when she heard shouting. "Where is she?" It was Soo-min, Mr. Park's fiancée. Tamara's heart started racing. She tried to hide behind a filing cabinet, but it was too late. Soo-min burst into the office area. She was wearing a red dress that probably cost more than a car. Her makeup was perfect. Her hair was perfect. She looked like a model, but her face was twisted with rage. "There you are." Soo-min marched up to Tamara. "You disgusting little." "Soo-min." Mr. Park's voice cut through the air like a knife. He stood in his office doorway. "What are you doing here?" "What am I doing here? What am I doing here?" Soo-min screamed. "You hired this thing as your assistant? Are you insane? She's an employee. Like anyone else. She's not like anyone else. She's black. She's American. She doesn't belong here." Soo-min was shaking with anger. "What will people think? What will your board members say? What will my family say?" "I don't care," Mr. Park said coldly. Soo-min looked like she'd been slapped. You don't care?" "No. We're getting married in 6 months." "I know. I will not have this black girl working for you." Soo-min pointed at Tamara. "Fire her. Now. Or the wedding is off." The whole office went silent. Everyone was watching. Waiting. Mr. Park looked at Soo-min. Then at Tamara. Then back at Soo-min. "No," he said simply. Soo-min's mouth fell open. "What did you say?" "I said no. Ms. Washington signed a 5-year contract. She stays." "Then we're done." Soo-min screamed. "You hear me? Done. I'm calling my father. I'm calling your board. I'm going to destroy you." She turned and stormed out, her high heels clicking on the floor like gunshots. Everyone stared at Mr. Park. He showed no emotion. "Nothing. Everyone back to work," he said quietly. People scattered like frightened mice. Mr. Park looked at Tamara. "My office. Now." Tamara followed Mr. Park into his office. Her whole body was shaking. Was he going to fire her? Break the contract? Make her pay the penalty? Mr. Park closed the door and walked to the window. He stood there, looking out at Seoul, silent. "I'm sorry, sir," Tamara said quietly. "I didn't mean to cause problems with your fiancée." "She's not my fiancée anymore," Mr. Park said. Tamara blinked. "What?" "I've been looking for a reason to end that engagement for 2 years. You just gave me one. So thank you." Tamara didn't understand. But why would you want to end it? She's beautiful, rich, perfect. Mr. Park turned to look at her. Really look at her. His dark eyes were intense. Scary. But also something else. Something Tamara couldn't name. Perfect, he said. She's racist. Cruel. Heartless. Just like everyone else in my world. He walked closer to Tamara. Do you know why I hired you? Because I'm desperate? Partly. But also because of what you did outside my building. He stopped right in front of her. You threw yourself on the ground and begged. In front of everyone. You had no pride. No shame. Just pure, desperate love for your sister. Do you know how rare that is? Tamara said nothing. Everyone in my world cares about money. Status. Power. Image. No one cares about love. About family. About sacrifice. Mr. Park's voice was soft now. Almost sad? When I saw you on the ground, crying for your sister, I saw something I haven't seen in years. Something real. I don't understand, Tamara whispered. You don't need to understand. You just need to work. Mr. Park stepped back. But know this, I didn't hire you to torture you. I hired you because I need someone real around me. Someone who isn't fake. Someone who will tell me the truth, even when it's hard. But the contract is harsh because I need to know you won't quit when things get hard. And they will get hard, Tamara. Very hard. My world is dangerous. My enemies are everywhere. And now that you work for me, you're a target. Tamara's blood went cold. A target? Sumin won't forget this. Her family won't forget this. They'll come after you. Try to break you. Hurt you. Scare you away. Mr. Park's eyes were serious. Can you handle that? Tamara thought about destiny. About the medicine. About her mom working 3 jobs. Yes, she said. I can handle anything. Mr. Park almost smiled. Almost. We'll see. That afternoon, Tamara was working at her desk when her work phone rang. It was an unknown number. Hello, she answered. Heavy breathing. Then a voice. A woman's voice. Cold and sharp. You made a big mistake, black girl, the voice said in English. Who is this? You should have left when you had the chance. Now you're going to suffer. Is this Sumin? Laughter. Cold, cruel laughter. Oh, you'll wish it was just Sumin. She's nothing compared to what's coming for you. What do you want? I want you gone. I want you destroyed. I want you to regret the day you ever came to Korea. The voice paused. We know where your sister is. Seoul General Hospital, room 304. Such a cute little girl. It would be a shame if something happened to her. Tamara's heart stopped. If you touch my sister, then what? What will you do? You're nobody. You're nothing. You're just a poor black girl in a country that doesn't want you. The line went dead. Tamara's hands were shaking so badly she dropped the phone. Tears poured down her face. They were threatening destiny. Her baby sister. Her innocent, sick baby sister. She had to tell someone. She had to. Mr. Park's door opened. He looked at her. Saw her tears. I saw her shaking. What happened? He demanded. Tamara told him everything. Mr. Park's face went dark. Darker than Tamara had ever seen. His jaw clenched. His hands formed fists. Pack your things, he said quietly. Too quietly. What? Are you firing me? No. You're moving. Tonight. You and your family. I'm putting you all in a safe house. 24-hour security. No one will touch your sister. No one will touch any of you. But the contract said I have to live in company housing. The contract says what I say it says. And I say your family stays with you. They'll be safe. Protected. I promise you that. Tamara couldn't believe it. Why would you do this for me? Mr. Park looked at her with those dark, intense eyes. Because you're mine now, he said. And I protect what's mine. 2 hours later, Tamara, her mom, and Destiny were in a luxury apartment in the safest part of Seoul. It was huge. Beautiful. Like a palace. Destiny was so happy she was crying. Tammy, is this really ours? For now, baby girl. For now. Her mom pulled Tamara aside. What's going on? Who is this Mr. Park? What kind of job is this? It's complicated, Mama. But we're safe. Destiny will get her medicine. Trust me. That night, Tamara lay in her new bed in her new room. It was the nicest room she'd ever had. But she felt more trapped than ever. Her work phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Park. Tomorrow, 6 a.m. We have a business trip. Pack for 3 days. Formal clothes. We're going to Japan. Japan? Tamara had never left Korea before. What was happening? Another message came. This time from an unknown number. Enjoy your fancy apartment while you can. This isn't over. Not even close. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. See you soon, black girl. Tamara's blood ran cold. What had she done? What kind of world had she entered? And most importantly, who was really after her? At 5 a.m., a black car picked up Tamara from the safe house. Her mom hugged her tight at the door. Be careful, baby, her mom whispered. Something doesn't feel right about this job. I'll be fine, Mama, Tamara lied. I promise. But she wasn't fine. She was terrified. Going to another country with a man she barely knew? A man who owned her for 5 years? What if something happened? What if he hurt her? What if those people who threatened her followed them to Japan? At the airport, Tamara expected to go through normal security and get on a normal plane. But the car drove past all of that. It went straight onto the runway where a private jet was waiting. A private jet. Tamara had only seen those in movies. Mr. Park was already on board. He was wearing a dark blue suit and typing on his laptop. He barely looked up when Tamara got on. Sit, he said, pointing to a cream-colored leather seat across from him. Tamara sat. The seat was so soft it felt like sitting on a cloud. The inside of the jet was nicer than any house she'd ever been in. Everything was cream and gold and perfect. A flight attendant came over. She was a young Korean woman with a perfect smile. Would you like anything to drink, miss? She asked in English. Water is fine. Thank you. The flight attendant brought her water in a crystal glass. Crystal. Tamara held it like it might break in her hands. The jet took off. Tamara had only been on a plane twice in her life, when her family moved from Atlanta to Korea and once for a school trip. But this was different. This was smooth. Quiet. Fancy. Have you been to Japan before? Mr. Park asked suddenly, still looking at his laptop. No, sir. Never. You'll like Tokyo. It's organized. Clean. Efficient. Not like Seoul. What's wrong with Seoul? Mr. Park finally looked up at her. Nothing. But Tokyo is different. The business culture is even more strict. More formal. You'll need to be on your absolute best behavior. I will, sir. And Tamara? Yes, sir? The people we're meeting in Tokyo are very powerful. Very dangerous. They're partners with Park Corporation, but they're not friends. They'll try to find any weakness they can use against me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Tamara's throat went dry. You mean me? I'm a weakness? You're new. Unknown. Different. Mr. Park's eyes were serious. And yes, you're black. That will make some of them uncomfortable, rude, maybe even cruel. Can you handle that? Tamara thought about all the times Korean people had been rude to her, touched her hair without asking, called her names, treated her like she was less than human. I've been handling it for 2 years, sir. I can handle 3 more days. Mr. Park nodded slowly. Good. Because if you can survive this trip, you can survive anything. Tokyo was beautiful. Even more beautiful than Tamara imagined. The buildings were tall and modern. The streets were so clean they sparkled. Everything was organized and perfect. But Tamara barely got to see any of it. The car from the airport took them straight to a massive hotel in the center of the city. It was called the Imperial Hotel Tokyo, and it looked like a palace. We have meetings all day, Mr. Park said as they walked through the lobby. You'll take notes, organize documents, and stay quiet unless spoken to. Understood? Yes, sir. They got on the elevator. But instead of going to a meeting room, they went up to the 20th floor. The doors opened to a hallway with only 2 doors. This is the penthouse level, Mr. Park said, walking to the door on the right. Only the most important guests stay here. He opened the door, and Tamara's jaw dropped. The suite was enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed all of Tokyo. There was a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, and multiple bedrooms. Everything was modern and expensive and perfect. Your room is the second door on the left, Mr. Park said. Unpack quickly. We have a meeting in 30 minutes. Tamara's room was bigger than her entire apartment back in Seoul. The bed was huge. The bathroom had a marble shower and a bathtub big enough to swim in. On the bed was a garment bag. Tamara unzipped it and gasped. Inside was a beautiful black dress. Designer. Expensive. Elegant. There was also a note. Wear this to the dinner meeting tonight. Make sure your hair is neat and professional. Park. Tamara touched the dress. The fabric was so soft. So beautiful. She'd never worn anything this nice in her entire life. But it felt wrong. Like she was playing dress up. like she was pretending to be someone she wasn't. The meeting was in a conference room on the 15th floor. When Tamara and Mr. Park walked in, 6 Japanese businessmen were already seated around a long table. They all wore dark suits. They all looked serious, powerful, rich. When they saw Tamara, every single one of them stared. Their eyes went wide. Some of them whispered to each other in Japanese. Tamara kept her head high and followed Mr. Park to the table. "Gentlemen," Mr. Park said in perfect Japanese. "Thank you for meeting with me. This is Ms. Washington, my personal assistant." The oldest man at the table, maybe 60 years old with gray hair, looked at Tamara like she was a strange animal in a zoo. "Your assistant is American?" he asked in English. "Yes," Mr. Park said simply. "And she is black, obviously." The room went silent. Tamara's face burned with shame and anger. But she kept quiet. Professional, like Mr. Park told her. The old man smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "How interesting. Tell me, Ms. Washington, do you speak Japanese?" "No, sir." "I'm sorry. Korean?" "Yes, sir. I've been studying for 2 years." 2 years? And you work for Mr. Park? How did someone like you get such an important job? Someone like you. Tamara knew what he meant. Someone black. Someone poor. Someone who didn't belong. Before Tamara could answer, Mr. Park's voice cut through the air like ice. "Ms. Washington got the job because she's smart, hardworking, and loyal. 3 qualities that are very rare, even in this room." The old man's smile disappeared. The meeting continued for 3 hours. Tamara took notes on her laptop. She tried to understand the business talk, but it was complicated. They discussed money, investments, partnerships, contracts. Numbers so big Tamara couldn't even imagine them. But the whole time, she felt eyes on her, judging her, questioning her, wondering what she was doing there. That night, Tamara put on a black dress. She looked at herself in the mirror and almost didn't recognize herself. The dress fit perfectly. It was elegant, sophisticated. She looked like she belonged in this world. But she didn't. And she knew it. She met Mr. Park in the suite's living room. When he saw her, he stopped walking. He just stared at her for a long moment. "You look presentable," he finally said. But something in his eyes was different. "Softer?" "No, that couldn't be right." The dinner was at a fancy restaurant on the top floor of another hotel. When they arrived, the 6 businessmen from earlier were already there. But this time, they had brought their wives. The wives were all Japanese. All beautiful. All dressed in expensive kimonos. And all of them stared at Tamara like she was dirt on their expensive shoes. "Please sit," the old man said, gesturing to chairs. Tamara sat next to Mr. Park. Across from her sat the old man's wife. She was maybe 50 years old, with perfect skin and cold eyes. "So, Ms. Washington," the wife said in English, "tell us about yourself. Where are you from in America?" "Atlanta, ma'am." "Ah, the South. How quaint." The woman smiled. "And your family? What do they do?" "My mother is a nurse. My little sister is 8 years old." "No father?" Tamara's jaw clenched. "No, ma'am." "I see." The woman exchanged looks with the other wives. They all had the same cruel smile. The dinner was torture. 7 courses of food Tamara didn't recognize. She tried to use the chopsticks correctly, but she kept dropping things. The wives laughed quietly behind their hands. "Ms. Washington," one of the younger wives said, "can I touch your hair? I've never had black hair before." Tamara froze. "This again. Always this." "I'd rather you didn't, ma'am," Tamara said politely. "Oh, but I'm so curious." The woman reached across the table. Mr. Park's hand shot out and grabbed the woman's wrist. Not hard, but firm. "She said no," Mr. Park said quietly. His voice was cold. "Dangerous." The woman pulled her hand back, her face red with embarrassment. The old man cleared his throat. "Mr. Park, please. My daughter-in-law meant no harm. She was simply curious." "Curiosity doesn't excuse rudeness," Mr. Park said. The tension at the table was thick enough to cut with a knife. Then the old man's wife smiled sweetly and said, "Mr. Park, forgive me for asking, but is Ms. Washington more than just your assistant?" The question hung in the air like poison. Everyone stared at Mr. Park. Waiting. Tamara's heart pounded. What was he going to say? Mr. Park looked at the woman with cold, dead eyes. "What I do with my employees is my business. Not yours." Of course, the woman said quickly. "I was just wondering because, well, you're engaged to Ms. Kong Soo-min, aren't you?" Such a beautiful match. Two powerful Korean families united. It would be a shame if anything complicated that. Tamara wanted to sink through the floor and disappear. The engagement is off, Mr. Park said simply. Everyone gasped. What? The old man said. When did this happen? Yesterday. But why? Mr. Park put down his chopsticks. Because I don't love her. And I don't marry people I don't love. Even for business. The old man's face went dark. This is a mistake, Mr. Park. The Kong family is powerful. This will have consequences. I'm aware. They'll come after you. After your company. Let them try. The dinner ended shortly after that. Cold goodbyes. Fake smiles. Promises to talk later. In the car back to the hotel, Mr. Park was silent. His jaw was clenched. His hands were in fists. I'm sorry, Tamara said quietly. I ruined your business deal. You didn't ruin anything. They did. With their racism and rudeness. But they think that I'm. Tamara couldn't finish the sentence. I don't care what they think. But your engagement was a prison. Just like yours. Mr. Park looked at her. We're both trapped, Tamara. Just in different ways. Back at the hotel, Tamara went to her room and changed into pajamas. She was exhausted. Emotionally drained. She just wanted to sleep and forget this whole horrible day. She was washing her face when she heard a sound. A click. Like a door opening. Tamara froze. Her heart started pounding. Slowly, she peeked out of the bathroom. A man was standing in her bedroom. He was Japanese. Wearing all black. And he was holding something in his hand. A knife. Tamara opened her mouth to scream, but the man lunged forward and grabbed her. His hand covered her mouth. The knife pressed against her throat. Quiet, he hissed in English. Or I'll kill you right now. Tamara couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. This was it. She was going to die. In a foreign country. Alone. And destiny would never get her medicine. You should have stayed in America, black girl, the man whispered. You don't belong here. And now you're going to pay. The knife pressed harder against her throat. Tamara felt a trickle of blood run down her neck. This was it. This was. Crash. The bedroom door exploded open. Mr. Park stood there. His eyes were wild. Dangerous. He looked like a completely different person. Not cold. Not calm. Just pure rage. Let her go, he roared. The man hesitated for just a second. That was all Mr. Park needed. He moved so fast Tamara barely saw it. 1 second the man had a knife to her throat. The next second Mr. Park had the man slammed against the wall. The knife clattered to the floor. Mr. Park's hand was around the man's throat. Squeezing. Who sent you? Mr. Park demanded in Japanese. The man smiled. Blood dripped from his mouth. You know who sent me. And they're coming for you next. Mr. Park squeezed harder. The man started choking. Gasping for air. Jin-woo, stop. Tamara screamed. You're killing him. Mr. Park looked at her. His eyes were still wild. Still full of rage. But slowly, the coldness came back. He let go of the man. The man collapsed to the floor, coughing and gasping. Hotel security burst in moments later. They took the man away. Questions were asked. Police were called. Through it all, Tamara just stood there shaking. Crying. Unable to believe what had just happened. Someone tried to kill her. Actually kill her. Mr. Park came over to her. Gently, he took her face in his hands and examined her throat. The cut was small. Not deep. But it was bleeding. We're leaving, Mr. Park said. Now. Pack your things. But the meetings. Forget the meetings. I'm getting you out of here. I'm getting you somewhere safe. Where? Mr. Park looked at her with those dark, intense eyes. With me. Always with me. From now on, you don't leave my side. Ever. 3 hours later, they were on the private jet back to Seoul. Tamara sat in the cream leather seat, wrapped in a blanket, still shaking. Mr. Park sat across from her. He hadn't left her side since the attack. Not even for a second. Who was that man? Tamara finally asked. An assassin. Hired by someone who wants me destroyed. Sue Min. Maybe. Or her family. Or the Kong family's business rivals. Or all of them together. Mr. Park's jaw clenched. I have many enemies, Tamara. And now that you work for me, they're your enemies too. This is insane. I'm just trying to save my sister. I didn't sign up for assassins and death threats. I know. And I'm sorry. Mr. Park leaned forward. But there's something you need to know. Something I should have told you before. What? The real reason I hired you. The real reason I made that contract so harsh. Tamara's blood went cold. What do you mean? Mr. Park took a deep breath. I didn't just hire you because you were desperate. I hired you because I needed someone close to me. Someone I could trust. Someone who couldn't betray me because they had too much to lose. I don't understand. Someone is trying to destroy the Park Corporation from the inside. A spy. A traitor. Someone close to me. And I don't know who. Tamara's hands started shaking again. And you think I can help you find them? No. Mr. Park's eyes were dark. Seriously. I think you're the bait. Bait? Tamara jumped out of her seat. You used me as bait? Mr. Park remained calm. Sit down, Tamara. No. You let someone try to kill me just to catch a traitor. I didn't let anything happen. I was there. I saved you. Mr. Park's voice was hard. And I will continue to protect you. But yes, I needed the traitor to reveal themselves. And they did. Tamara was shaking with rage and fear. Who is it? Who's the traitor? Mrs. Kim. Tamara's mouth fell open. Your secretary? The woman who warned me about the other girls? Exactly. She warned you to scare you. To make you quit. Because every assistant I hire gets too close to discovering the truth. That she's been selling company secrets for 3 years. But she seems so nice. So worried about me. That's what made her perfect. Mr. Park stood up and walked to the window. She's worked for me for 15 years. I trusted her completely. She knew everything about my business. My life. My secrets. And she sold them all to my competitors. How do you know it's her? Because the assassin in Tokyo worked for the Nakamura family, my biggest rival in Japan. And only Mrs. Kim knew we were going to Tokyo. Only she knew which hotel, which room you were staying in. Mr. Park's hands formed fists. She sent that assassin to kill you. To hurt me. To make me weak. Tamara sat back down slowly. Her mind was spinning. What happens now? Now we finish this. They landed in Seoul at 6 a.m. Tamara was exhausted, terrified, and angry. But Mr. Park looked energized. Focused. Like a hunter who finally found his prey. At Park Corporation, everything looked normal. Employees arriving for work. Coffee being made. Computers turning on. But Tamara knew better. Nothing was normal anymore. Mrs. Kim was at her desk, like always. When she saw Tamara and Mr. Park, she smiled warmly. Oh, you're back early. How was Tokyo? She asked in Korean. Eventful, Mr. Park said coldly. My office. Now. Mrs. Kim's smile faltered. Is something wrong? Everything is wrong. They walked into Mr. Park's office. Tamara followed, her heart pounding. Mrs. Kim came in last, looking confused and worried. Mr. Park closed the door and locked it. Sit, he commanded. Mrs. Kim sat. Mr. Park, you're scaring me. What's going on? Mr. Park pulled out his phone and played a video. It showed the assassin in Tokyo, bloody and beaten, confessing to the police. She paid me, the assassin said in Japanese. Subtitles appeared on the screen. Mrs. Kim from Park Corporation. She gave me 50 million yen to kill the black girl. To send a message to Mr. Park. Mrs. Kim's face went white. Then red. Then white again. You recorded him? She whispered. I did more than that. Mr. Park pressed a button on his desk. 2 security guards entered. I had the police trace the money you paid him. It came from an offshore account linked to the Kong family. The same family whose daughter I was supposed to marry. Mrs. Kim started crying. Please, Mr. Park. I can explain. Explain what? How have you been selling my secrets for 3 years? How did you sabotage my deals? How did you try to have my assistant murdered? They threatened my family. Mrs. Kim sobbed. The Kong family said they'd hurt my grandchildren if I didn't help them. I had no choice. You had a choice. You could have come to me. I would have protected you. Mr. Park's voice was ice. But instead you betrayed me. You put Tamara's life in danger. And for that, there is no forgiveness. What are you going to do to me? Mrs. Kim whispered. I'm going to do what I do to all traitors. I'm going to destroy you. Mr. Park nodded to the guards. Take her to the police. She's being charged with attempted murder, corporate espionage, and fraud. She'll spend the next 20 years in prison. Mrs. Kim screamed as the guards dragged her out. You can't do this. I have grandchildren. I have a family. Please, Mr. Park. Please. But Mr. Park showed no mercy. No emotion. Nothing. When the door closed, silence filled the room. Tamara realized she was shaking. Is it over? With Mrs. Kim? Yes. But the Kong family is still out there. Still dangerous. Still angry. Mr. Park looked at her. Your life will be in danger as long as you work for me. Do you understand that? Yes. And you still want to stay? Tamara thought about destiny. About the medicine she was now receiving. About her mom who no longer worked 3 jobs. About the safe, beautiful apartment they lived in. I signed a contract, Tamara said. 5 years. I keep my promises. Something flickered in Mr. Park's eyes. Respect? Admiration? So do I. But Tamara was wrong. It wasn't over. That afternoon, as Tamara was organizing files, her work phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Ms. Washington. A man's voice. Older. Powerful. My name is Kong Dae-young. I'm Sumin's father. Tamara's blood ran cold. How did you get this number? I get any number I want. I'm one of the richest men in Korea. His voice was smooth. Dangerous. I'm calling to give you a warning. You've made an enemy of my family. That was a mistake. I didn't do anything to your family. You ruined my daughter's engagement. You got Mrs. Kim arrested. You've turned Mr. Park against us. Mr. Kang's voice went cold. And now you'll pay the price. Are you threatening me? I don't make threats, Ms. Washington. I make promises. And I promise you this, your little sister Destiny will never make it to her 9th birthday. Tamara's world stopped. If you touch my sister. What? What will you do? You're nobody. You're nothing. You're just a poor black girl who got lucky. Mr. Kong laughed. Enjoy your fancy apartment while you can. Because soon, very soon, you'll lose everything. The line went dead. Tamara ran to Mr. Park's office, tears streaming down her face. They threatened Destiny. The Kong family. They're going to hurt my sister. Mr. Park stood up immediately. When? I don't know. Just now. On the phone. Mr. Park grabbed his phone and made a call. Double security at the safe house. Now. Nobody gets in or out without my approval. And get me every detail on Kong Dae-young's movements for the past week. He hung up and looked at Tamara. Your sister will be fine. I promise you. How can you promise that? He's powerful. He's rich. He can do anything. So can I. Mr. Park's eyes were dark and dangerous. And I'm about to show the Kong family exactly what happens when they threaten what's mine. Over the next 3 days, Mr. Park went to war. He used every resource, every connection, every dirty trick he knew. He discovered that the Kong family had been doing illegal business deals for years. Money laundering, tax evasion, bribery, corruption. Mr. Park leaked it all to the media. Within 48 hours, Kong Dae-young was arrested. His company's stock crashed. His business partners abandoned him. His empire crumbled. Sumin called Mr. Park, screaming and crying. You destroyed my family. You ruined us. You threatened an innocent child, Mr. Park said coldly. You threatened Destiny. That was your mistake. I'll make you pay for this. You'll do nothing. Because if you or your family ever come near Tamara or her family again, I will destroy what's left of your father's company. I will take everything. Do you understand me? Silence. Then sobbing. Then the line went dead. It was over. Finally, truly over. That night, Tamara was in Mr. Park's office, organizing the final documents from the Kong case. She was exhausted but relieved. Destiny was safe. Her family was safe. She could finally breathe. Tamara, Mr. Park said suddenly. We need to talk. Tamara's heart started pounding. Was he going to fire her? Change the contract? Yes, sir. Mr. Park stood up and walked around his desk. He stood in front of her, closer than he'd ever been before. I owe you an apology, he said quietly. I put you in danger. I used you. I should have told you the truth from the beginning. You were trying to catch a traitor. I understand. No, you don't understand. Mr. Park took a deep breath. I didn't just hire you to catch Mrs. Kim. I hired you because when I saw you on the ground that day, begging for your sister, I saw something I thought I'd never see again. Something real. Something pure. Something beautiful. Tamara's breath caught. Mr. Park. I'm not good with feelings, Tamara. I've spent my whole life building walls. Being cold. Being ruthless. But you. He looked at her with those dark eyes, and for the first time, they weren't cold. They were warm. Soft. Human. You made me feel something. And that terrified me. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm saying that somewhere in the past 3 weeks, I stopped seeing you as just an employee. I started seeing you as someone important. Someone I want to protect. Not because of a contract, but because I care. Tamara's heart was racing. You care about me? Yes. And I know it's wrong. I know I'm your boss. I know there's a power imbalance. I know you signed a contract under duress. I know all of that. Mr. Park's voice was thick with emotion. But I needed you to know the truth. Even if you hate me for it. Tamara stared at him. This cold, ruthless CEO was confessing feelings for her? It didn't make sense. None of this made sense. I don't hate you, Tamara said softly. You saved my sister. You protected my family. You risked everything to keep us safe. How could I hate you? Then what do you feel? Tamara thought about it. I really thought about it. Yes, Mr. Park was cold. Harsh. Demanding. But he was also protective. Loyal. Honest. He kept his promises. And when he looked at her like he was looking at her now, she felt something. Something warm. Something real. I don't know yet, Tamara admitted. This is all so confusing. So overwhelming. I need time to figure out what I feel. Mr. Park nodded. I understand. And I'll give you that time. But I need you to know something else. What? Your contract. The 5-year contract. I'm tearing it up. Tamara's eyes went wide. What? But the penalty. There is no penalty. You're free to leave whenever you want. No debt. No consequences. You can walk away right now and take all the money I've paid you. Your sister will continue to get her medicine. Your family will keep the apartment. I'll make sure of it. Tamara couldn't believe what she was hearing. Why would you do that? Because I don't want you here out of obligation. I want you here because you choose to be here. With me. Mr. Park's voice was soft. Vulnerable. So choose, Tamara. Stay or go. Either way, you're free. Tamara stood there, her mind racing. She could leave. She could actually leave. No more 18-hour days. No more dangerous situations. No more living in fear. But if she left, she'd never see Mr. Park again. And surprisingly, that thought made her sad. In 3 weeks, this cold, scary man had become something more. He'd shown her a world she never knew existed. He'd protected her family. He'd fought for her. He'd cared. And maybe, just maybe, she cared too. I have a condition, Tamara said finally. Name it. Change the contract. Make it fair. Normal working hours. Weekends off. And treat me like an equal partner, not a slave. Mr. Park smiled. Actually smiled. It was the first real smile Tamara had ever seen on his face, and it transformed him completely. Deal, he said. Then I'll stay. Not for 5 years. But for 1 year. And at the end of that year, we'll see where we are. 1 year, Mr. Park agreed. That's enough time. Enough time for what? To prove to you that I'm more than just a cold CEO. To show you who I really am. He extended his hand. Deal. Tamara looked at his hand. Then at his face. Then at his eyes, which were warm and hopeful and human. She took his hand. Deal. Destiny's 9th birthday party was in full swing. The apartment was filled with kids, balloons, and laughter. Destiny was healthy, happy, and completely cancer-free. The experimental treatment had worked. Tamara's mom was in the kitchen, making her famous sweet potato pie, smiling wider than Tamara had seen in years. And Tamara? She was standing on the balcony, watching the Seoul sunset, when Mr. Park came up behind her. Happy birthday to Destiny, he said, handing her a gift bag. Jin-woo, you already gave her 3 presents. This one's for you. He'd asked her to call him by his first name 3 months ago, when their relationship had shifted from boss and employee to something more. Something real. Tamara opened the bag. Inside was a small box. She opened it and gasped. A key. What's this? A key to my penthouse. I want you to move in with me. Jin-woo's eyes were soft. Nervous. Not as my employee. As my partner. My equal. My girlfriend, if you'll have me. Tamara looked at him. This man who had started as her cold, ruthless boss had become her protector, her friend, and now, maybe her love. Your family will hate it, Tamara said. I'm black. I'm American. I'm not from their world. I don't care about their world anymore. I only care about ours. Jin-woo took her hands. I love you, Tamara Washington. And I don't care who knows it. Tears filled Tamara's eyes. Happy tears. I love you too. They kissed as the sun set over Seoul. 2 people from completely different worlds who had found something neither expected. Love. Freedom. Hope. And a future worth fighting for. The end. Thank you so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed Tamara and Jin-woo's journey, please subscribe to this channel to support our growth. Drop a comment below telling us what you thought of this story. Should we make more stories like this? What kind of story do you want to see next? Your support means everything to us. See you in the next story.